to be a bit of a speed run. In the top left, our red Protoss player from Psystorm, MaxPax. Bottom right, our blue Terran player. Make some noise for team Liquid's Clem. Why can I never find the observer I want? Oh, because they're not in here. Huh. That's a new one. Wasn't expecting that to be the reason why. Alright, well. When is DreamHack event? It's the weekend of like June 16th-ish, basically. It's around that time. Around that time. Refinery, barracks, all coming through. We see the assimilator and the gas coming up from MaxPax as well. So just getting all of this established, all of this going. Here in this game, number 1. I said I was going to be away for Sweden. I actually don't know if I'll be away for Sweden. I'm not actually currently hired for DreamHack Jönköping. I guess even if I'm not, I will not be here, though. I'll probably just take a weekend off. But yeah, not currently hired, so I'm talking as though I'm going to go, but there's actually zero confirmation that that's going to be the case, so yeah, maybe just don't pay me any attention, guys. In that regard. As you can see, our CC is building, probe coming up, and getting a scout on that. Reaper is on the way from Clem. The early stages here look pretty much as expected in the early stages, so no surprises in that regard early. Just having our Nexus coming down on the natural expansion, the Adept coming up, the Warp Gate coming through, and Nexus still just about halfway done for now. Hired or hired? I mean, I'm silently confident that I'll get hired, but you never know. Maybe they're like, hey, that Wardy guy did so many of the online days, he doesn't need to do the offline part. Like I said, I'm silently confident about Sweden at least. So, but I mean, I might be wrong. Who knows? It's a weird year of StarCraft. We do have our Warp Gate coming online, Twilight Council coming up. MaxPax going into his very typical Blink-based setup here, which really is just kind of one of the norms for him. That is not too surprising in the slightest. MaxPax really does love his Twilight. He really does love being aggressive off that Twilight. That seems to be the case right now in terms of what we're going to be doing. Reaper taking some shots, as we do have the Adept in the store. Just going to chase that down. Marines will come through. The Adept taking quite a bit of damage. Is going to go down. The SCV getting stuck on the corner over there. Is now going to transition down to low ground. We just have ourselves the extra Robo coming into play. MaxPax, how many gates are we on right now? Just going into 2. There's number 3 just starting up. Are we going to see number 4? Are we going to sit on this 3 gates? Obviously 3 gateways is that good in between. Of still being able to apply a good amount of pressure. Could be interesting, actually. Could be interesting. Factory getting a siege tank on the way, too. Stimpack still coming up on the racks. And yeah, plenty of Marines coming out for the moment. Stalker's Adept coming down the low ground. We do see the Reaper moving around the right. Probe is going to take a couple nibbles. Reaper getting some shots off. Prism will begin. Extra gates coming through. Probes coming through. All that getting set up for the moment as our Adept continues out down to the south here. Off and away we go as our Stalkers firing up onto the Reaper, getting some damage dealt. Stalker continues to chase our little Reaper around for a moment or two. So just continuing around that. And we do have our stem again about halfway through. The Reaper is trying for the probe. Is going to get the probe. That's a nice catch. Going to delay the third base by a few extra seconds. If third base was intentioned. But I mean, it definitely is. MaxPax has the money for it. So that's a nice catch from Clem. Going to delay the third here. As now a starport starts up from him, but he is prioritizing that bio, and that's fine against this amount of stalkers. I like it, actually, because to me it feels like you're going to have Stim to help you push this back. This generally leaves you in a pretty good position. Stalkers jump up, SCV goes down. Tank shots are firing, and just seeing that Prism getting locked onto. So Cyclone doing a pretty decent job of that, pushing that Prism away. A few additional stalkers coming up once again. A bit of a blink from the stalkers. Half jumping up to the high ground. Bio going to stim into the corner here as we do knock down a bunch of these. Stalkers do blink out of there as well. Just going to see our combat shield coming up. Our +1 attack still coming up. A few more stalkers warping into. I mean, so far though, MaxPax has not really achieved much with these stalkers, and it generally feels pretty good for the Terran. This is going to be the opening, perhaps. Bunker goes down. It still buys you time to get units to the low ground. We could really do with Medivacs right now. These units are getting low HP. Clem's even been extremely cautious about stimming with them, because I think he realizes if he stims, he's really just doing a lot of damage to himself for the moment, and he's not sure that the stim would be that beneficial with MaxPax's ability to just blink away. So he's got to kind of hold on there without pressing that stim button. A good little bit of restraint shown in that regard. As extra gates will go down from MaxPax. In that upper side. Oh, this is that Cyclone, but I feel like there's worse things to be losing than your Cyclone. The Prism's in the main, although I guess if you have the Cyclone up, you could maybe try and get a lock onto that Prism and really try and chase that down and shut it down and get rid of it. Medivacs kind of coming up and chasing that Prism away. And there's a couple of stalkers land back down onto the right-hand side here. Stalkers still just gathering up. We do have our bio forces just getting settled. A couple of Widow Mines going to be moving forward with this. A bio still coming through. Going to knock one stalker down, and the other stalker's being chased as well. So a couple of stalkers being picked. Obviously, this is Clem's moment to sort of say, hey, look, you didn't do enough early game with these stalkers. Now my army's looking pretty good. Now I feel good to move across the map. He'll have a couple of tanks here. He's still chasing with these Marauders. Every stalker he picks off is less defense that MaxPax will be able to lean on. Prism in the main base does not do much either. Clem's reinforcements do deflect that immediately, and he will grab a fourth here. I'm pretty confident this base doesn't survive. MaxPax is not in position for it either, so it is just having to be an instant cancel. I'm not getting greedy. I'm not trying to push the issue, just taking what he can get. As this might be a fight. He's going to let the tanks kind of siege or stay in the front. The tanks force the Zealots to kind of clump, which lets the Widow Mine do good damage, and the bio obviously survives through the Zealot shots initially. Now we're going to go into the main as he's forced the blink on the Stalkers. Oh no! What happened there? An F2? Or did you just see the Stalkers in the main? Oh my goodness, that was horrible for Clem. It was a great idea. The execution was looking fantastic, and then he just pulled it back through the Stalkers on the low ground. I understand if the Stalkers were on the high ground, that's scary, but then he should have gone off to the left, not back down to the south. Some sort of hotkeying, command-given issue there. That was a wild moment. That could have been extremely disastrous for Clem, honestly. That could have been really, really bad. I really feel like he got away somewhat lightly with it in the end. Observer going to come out overhead, just going to have a little bit of a peek around here. We do still have our medevac, the one that remains out down the left as it speeds across. It's going to walk into some Stalkers, I believe, though, so they must have been Zealots because that medevac has not been shot down. Anyways, we do still see the rest of this army moving in from the right side. Some MaxPax has Zealots counterattacking on the left, a main army attack on the right. Getting rid of those couple medevacs really changed things a little bit. As that bio comes back over, and Clem having to lift up this third base, just bringing this out. Just going to see a Bioforce. Uh-oh, the CC very nearly dies. The repair is good to keep the CC alive in the fact, though. So we are going to be able to keep the CC up and running here and try and get that orbital landed back down once again. As we do have our extended thermal lance about ready to go. A couple Widow Mines setting up. This Colossus is kind of coming in from an odd direction. MaxPax notices it and fixes it before it becomes an issue. That obviously really could have become a problem there. As we go diving forward, that Colossus is going to go down. We're just going to be seeing our Stalkers blinking back one more time. The Widowmine shot, a couple more Zealots getting picked off. Close to attack. Colossus continuing in here. MaxPax continue to come through. I mean, has a good worker lead at the moment, up about 13. Those attacks were great for him, and he's got a 4th base behind this and a 5th base starting. So that especially, his economy really taking major steps in these last few moments. Another Widowmine going off. Few Zealots taking damage. SCV's going down. It's kind of actually going to straight up fall here in the main base. The Zealot attack's doing a lot. Clem, get to jump on this MaxPax army that honestly isn't that strong, and as the Zealots go down, this Colossus will be chased. And the damage in the main base is kind of settling. I mean, 20 workers down. We did kill this Colossus before reinforcements showed up. Clem lost a few more units. He has an army supply lead. Can he get those units in one place to take this fight? I mean, obviously the biggest problem for Clem is all of this is happening while he's on 3 bases. MaxPax getting a 4th base set up behind this has really put him into just more or less untouchable territory. The Widowmine goes off to grab an observer there. Another couple mines will get burrowed up. The orbital's still taking hits. Scope's coming through. The SCV is still going down. A single Viking still chilling out overhead. Viking still firing. Just going to see the rest of these Zealots still coming through. We do see Clem just losing too many SCVs. MaxPax's onslaught here is going to be enough to grab game number 1. And Clem is going to go down a game after it looked so very good for Clem initially. It all turned when he lost those meta left and then accidentally hit the minimap. Well, you could argue that would happen in the bottom right as well if you're stepping in this direction. Or in the top left if you stutter stepping that direction. TLDR, stutter stepping down and left is worse for Terran, I guess. Just don't click the minimap, bro. Top right, our red Protoss player is going to be MaxPax from Psystorm. In the bottom left, our blue Terran. Clem, Team Liquid. The spaghetti hoops on toast count as a sandwich? No, it's not a sandwich, but it ain't a bad thing. Barbecue? What, barbecue sandwich? Apple, bacon, goat's cheese, and honey? That sounds wild. I don't even know how that works. Steak strip sandwich on baguette with horseradish? I'm not much of a sandwich person. Like, to the extent where I know what my favorite sandwich is, like, I like sandwiches, but I much rather, like, just buy a sandwich. You know what I mean? Like, if you're like, Wardy, make your dream sandwich, like, I have no idea. You know what I mean? I don't know. Cybercore next is Soul on the way. Let's get this underway ourselves as we have Aprobi nibbling and adventuring down on the bottom sides to start. And Reaper coming up. See what Clem does to try and take a step back into this, tie this series up. Next is over halfway done. You see the factory, the bunker coming up also right now. Just going to have a couple more probes coming out. Adept is going to go towards the low ground. We're going to get chased a little bit, and we have our Twilight Council still coming through. Reactor in the bunker coming up. Factory and the barracks coming into play. So far, so good as our Reaper escapes to the upper sides. The Adept continues to come Out down to the south. Well, grenade goes off. Robe's taking some shots. We'll just be seeing our Reaper continuing back over as our Twilight Council and our Robo facility continue up. Our Warp Gate's about halfway done, so similar opening from last time. Robo was maybe a bit faster this time than last time. Maybe a minor difference there. As the Twilight Council finishes, maybe MaxPax goes Dark Shrine here instead of Blink. No, it's going to be Blink. Just thought the Robo was at a bit of a different time. But, like I said, I think maybe I was a little bit incorrect on that, as we have our Marines come over, Adept getting chased. Marine's gonna chase, Adept can take some damage. And just seeing those extra gates coming online. We're up to number 2. We go into 3. We did end up on 4 gates last time. This one actually might just be 3. As our Prism going to be popping against Impact is coming up here from Clem as well. Adept is going to go and venture around. A couple Stalkers. Trying to jump onto our Reaper. Just about getting away to the corner there. Looks like we're going to get a couple pylons up on the top side. Marines continuing out down to the south. And seeing our Blink and our few Stalkers still coming up as well. So far, so good. As our Adepts and our Stalker will gather up on the right side. Going to go pushing toward the natural expansion. Impact's about to finish. Marauder Marines continuing through as well. The Cyclone locking on towards the Adepts there. Again, that Blink not far from finishing. The Immortal still coming up. A couple more Stalkers also coming through here. As that Bioforce goes for this big push through the center. Clem looking to try and capitalize on a, big opening. He killed the Prism actually, so no pressure. He's allowed to go across the map. I feel like I missed that Prism going down. Slightly awkward as our army comes over. So yeah, my apologies, guys. Clem got the Prism. That is why he's able to move across the map, and now he is going to get Cyclone locking onto a Stalker here. We do see another tank sieging. Well, I mean, there's still Blink, but blinking in obviously results in the bio-stimming, and then you take a lot of hits on the Stalkers. That was a kind of middle of the line situation, I guess. Battery still doing a bit of healing. Seen our combat shields on the way too for the next bit of bio that continues out. Now, bio here is going to stim for the Immortal, and we'll, I guess, take a couple Stalkers at the end. Whoa, this tank should have stopped. This was a donation from Clem, quite frankly. That tank did not need to show up here. Added absolutely nothing to this. Now it feels like Clem is really starting to just bleed out units. As our Stalkers blink up, a couple more probes have gone down altogether. Actually, very possible, guys, we end up on like a very PvP heavy section of the bracket at the end of the day if MaxPax goes to the finals, and bottom side could be like Classic versus Nice, for example, if Classic beats Solo. I'm not sure if that result's already in or not. All combat shields coming up to nearing completion. We still have +1 attack continuing through concussive shells as well. It's just passing that halfway mark. A charge coming up also from MaxPax. A few more probes still being brought out here. Stalkers continue to warp in, as will a Zealot. Together. Now getting ready to push on through. We just have ourselves the defense looking good though. With a bunker and a siege tank especially, it looks very good defensively for Clem. Might be difficult for MaxPax to break into that. Solo won against Classic. Ah, cool. So we actually have a ZVP semifinal at least. Okay. That's neat. A couple pylons drop down in the back. A few gates coming online. +1 attack coming through. Charge is about to finish. Gonna see extra gates coming in, our observer as well. All that getting set up. Fire stems up. Zealots will warp in. And we just start to press on forward here. Wouldn't mind shots decent onto a chunk of those zealots. It's a nice start. Here you go, charging forward. An immortal immediately in some trouble. Gonna get picked off. Couple more zealots going down. Sentry Stalker being picked through as well. Robo Bay is now landing. And X is still building up. Fire Force will begin to fight a couple of these zealots already getting shot at. Nexus taking a bunch of damage. As zealots come through, SCV's taking shots, probes going down. Our bio going to go jump towards the Cybernetics core. We've seen our push from Clem is pretty dangerous. I mean, a few SCVs going down on the other side. He is taking some eco damage, but this push had some power to it. And Clem, only 6 workers behind, a lot of army supply ahead. This feel is actually very reminiscent of that MaxPax Oliveira game earlier, where certainly MaxPax is just very much so struggling when it comes to dealing with the larger force, and Clem and Oliveira was able to kind of really just keep the momentum up a lot. Well, there is a Dark Shrine dropping in from MaxPax. Again, that Dark Shrine started up. Clem is advancing his own army tech, though. The Ghost Academy is just being finished here. The Viking is going to go after the Prism, and Prism will go down. There we go. So Prism does get killed as well. Let's just have a Marauder coming through, going after the Zealot also. Just going to pop that, and still seeing a bit more bio coming across over to the left as our Stalkers come around. Just going to be seeing them coming in here and just having our bio still coming through. Making a bit of a jump towards Stalker, Zealot, Colossus. There we go, just going to stem up a storm as we do move in. Just the Zealots trying to stay out of reach a little bit. Our Stalkers have to back it up a little bit as well right now. As our Zealots will continue to kind of come on through, we just got ourselves this bio army that is really standing strong. Can the Colossi save the day? That splash damage might make the difference, but we're not really having the frontline wall of defense that you need. Medevacs load back up. We are going to boost away, but it's only a matter of time until Clem's reinforcements will become plenty. The Observer would have been nice to get rid of. He didn't have enough damage output to get rid of it. Would have been great if he could have kept those mines on the low ground alive. That actually would have been incredible for him. It would have been so good. Obviously, just didn't quite happen in the end there as DTs begin to make a bit of a move forward, and they actually are going to get caught. Clem catches all three. Oh, yes, all three in one scan. What a beautiful catch that is. Good noticing from Clem. The shimmers on the ground. Well, just as MaxPax needed something to take a step back in this game, he is going to get just completely denied any idea of that. And Clem is going to make the tied up 1-1. And in the bottom left, our Blue Protoss player from Psystorm. This is MaxPax. Top right, our red Terran from Team Liquid. We have got ourselves a Clem. Wardy is the best caster ever from the WardiTV caster pool. Wow. Well, Hearthstone casts with me sometimes. Does he count as the WardiTV caster pool? Do. It's been ages since Hearthstone casted with me. It's because he's too busy insulting me to actually join the cast. It's because he got access to GSL replays and he just doesn't need my games anymore. It was always a ruse for content. Just wait. Another couple of weeks. GSL's been offline for a couple of, for 3 weeks or so. We'll be right back in the Wardy casting sphere, I'm sure. The SCV is going to come in nibbling. Probe taking some damage. Cybercore about to finish up. Next is coming in. Not really too much going on. Waiting for a tech choice to be made. Just a little bit here. Do you have RCC coming online? And it is a Twilight Council game. We have our couple Hellions on the way from Clem, a little bit different, proxying up that starport, so he is going to go for that Hellion job. Wouldn't be Clem if it wasn't a Hellion job at some point of a best of 3. So that's exactly what we're going to go for now. And we'll see how this goes. And if I get started, again, a few Hellions on the way up. We're trying to hide these a little bit, not showing them to the Adept for as long as possible. Obviously, you know it's a reactor on the factory, so in your head as MaxPax, this has got to be one of the possibilities. Doesn't mean it's 100% going to be those Hellions. It could be like a, very, a heavier Widow Mine drop. He's going to reveal it now. There's the Adept and Zealot on this side of the map. While you kill the Adept, you leave the Zealot. That's not super threatening here. You can micro against that. It's important these Hellions get across the map and get lifted into that medevac and start hitting their timing, hitting their damage before MaxPax amasses too much of a defense. So that's going to become the priority over these next few moments, as the probe is going to find the Hellions and the medevac, so you know exactly where it's coming from. Immediately 2 Stalkers in position to start hitting the medevac, and the Hellions will drop in front of this, and they will just go for some of these probes. We will lose 1 Hellion. We will lose 2, and this is actually really bad. The other Hellion getting caught means that Clem is going to lose pretty much everything. Messy micro, honestly. 8 probes killed is decent. Sometimes with Clem, we just expect it to be so much more because he so often is so good at getting so much more. This Zealot has been huge, though. 6 SCV kills! Hello? You remember when I said you can leave the Zealot? It's not that big of a deal? Clem is like, no, Wardy, you should always kill the Zealot, and this is why, and then proceeded not to do anything else. Yeah, that was a little bit weird, wasn't it? That was a little bit weird. Stalkers just continue to set up. And going for the moments. Some more Stalkers continue to fight. We're just going to see another bunker going down, and we do have our couple of barracks extra from Clem readying up, as he does need to defend against these Stalkers at this stage. I mean, again, 8 probes is decent. You can see equal work counts here. Biggest issue for Clem is this oftentimes means that you don't have as much on the defense. He gets 2 Stalkers as he loses a tank. He will pull SCVs without a bunker. This is a little bit rough for him as we have our Stalkers still taking some shots. Cyclone locking in, just going to see the Stalkers continue to get pushed back, and a couple of those probes continuing out as well. A few more Stalkers also coming up on the side of MaxPax, so bringing all of this out. As we do have our Stimpack moments away from finishing up here from Clem. The Stalkers hop up into the main base. The Marines coming over. Stalkers continue to fight. A couple SCVs begin to go down. A few more Stalkers coming up as well. I mean, we're pretty deep in the main here. This is not an easy exit. See now, Stalker still hanging out on the low ground there. Our Observer keeping an eye on things. Are we going to jump up to the main base? Yes, we are going to go for the Siege Tank again. Cyclone locking on. Tank getting a few more shots up. It's been a pretty good defense from Clem. I mean, he's keeping a good work account. He's getting a lot of Stalker kills, not losing too much across the board. Stalks continue to fight. Bio units coming across and just going to put a bit more damage in. The Prism taking some extra shots there as well. And the Stalker's still trying to come to the front. Not going to do too much though. Still chilling on the bottom side. We do see our Bioforce up at the top, and a Dark Shrine continuing through. Well, again, +1 attack, combat shield, all of that coming in. A couple of Medivacs, Marauders, and Marines producing on the side of Clem. As the Dark Shrine really will give MaxPax a little bit more of an aggressive opportunity, a few positions where you can walk around and fight and everything. Our Robo Bay is starting up also here. Both our tanks just getting established, and we do on Siege to kind of move forward a little bit. Clem going to push into MaxPax just a moment or so. And these Stalkers do begin to get pushed backwards. Robo Bay, Dark Shrine, all coming up. Obviously our DTs now get to morph in, and if we can get a couple DTs in to distract Clem as he goes across the map, this could be everything that MaxPax hopes for, because that really could be a lot of potential damage if Clem's distracted. He lost a lot of SCVs to single Zealot earlier. Let's see what the Dark Templar can do. One in the natural, looks like one will drop to the main base, with the Prism still available as well. Cyclone Nelly got the Prism, but the DT did get off, and it will start to deal damage. Decent force field. I mean, again, this is the question of, do the DTs do enough before Clem's army comes into play? Tanks get siege, Zealot Stalker taking some hits. I'm just going to see now Super Battery activating, Zealots being healed up. Obviously, Clem, if he can get MaxPax to run into him, should be pretty happy, because he's got the he's got all those Widow Mines. The Zealots run into those, that could be a big deal. Here we go. Well, that was not as exciting as I thought, although the tank actually tanking a little bit of the damage is going to allow the Bio to get through those Zealots. Prism is going to go down on the other side. The DT is going to get cleaned up by a mine as well. Clem's defense has been pretty neat. He's really minimized any potential losses. Doing a very good job of things. Bioforce sets up just outside the front. Mortal taking a few shots. Probes coming over. Well, it kind of felt like they were leaving for that fourth base, but they'll not be allowed to get there. The Colossus will complicate things. And a couple more Widow Mines going to get burrowed up, but they actually had nuked pretty quickly. Zealot's still trying to move through the Super Battery, trying to aid with that. We go back and forth just slightly, as we'll see our Super Battery activating one more time. More Zealots continue to come into play, as we do see our Bioforce still setting up. Zealots still coming in on the other side, as a big push from MaxPax going across the map. Again, joined together, just going to be seeing the forces gathering up. Our CC going to land into the front of this as well. Yeah, fourth base started, Ghost Academy coming through. Run by, again, being dealt with by some mines for the most part. Not that there wasn't units there, but the mine defense has been actually really good from Clem, catching DTs, catching Zealots, really doing a lot of work for him throughout the course of this. DT does get shot down. The few Stalkers still pressing forward. They're going to walk straight into that building sensor tower. Slows it down, but doesn't get the kill or cancel. Obviously, Clem just chilling and slowing it down himself now, with a couple of Ghosts and Vikings continuing up. 2 additional robo facilities as MaxPax really establishes into a later stage of this PvT, the extra disruptors to really start punishing the Terran, especially if the Terran tries to go attacking into the Protoss. Let's see if you have those disruptors in very good numbers. That would be a pretty big deal. And yeah, just even being able to rebuild disruptors quickly, right? After a fight, never mind just for the first fight. Having the fast rebuild allows you to get set up again if Clem does find that big pickoff. Could be a big deal as well. As the probe goes down, our Bioforce in the center from Clem still moving across. Vikings still up in the skies. As Zealot will grab the Marine. Bang bang off the Widow Mines, going to get rid of those couple of Zealots. Just going to clean those up immediately and still heading down to the south. Here's this army of Clem actually into the middle of the map. And continue pushing over there as a DT is going to get surrounded by SCVs. We'll clean that up as our Disruptor is going to clip a Ghost. Another Disruptor shot coming up. Split away. Keep away. Shot again going for a Widow Mine. We do see Zeld still marching into this natural expansion. Zeld's getting busy. 9 SCVs going down. Counterattacks putting a pull Clem back. MaxPax stays maxed out. Really good work account. 85 probes plus a bank already established. You have to start to worry a bit for Clem. This game is starting to take a lot of just... You know, it's going to have there's a lot of positives in play for MaxPax, basically, right? There's a lot of stuff that's looking very good for him across the board here. Couple more disruptor shots, actually clipping a few of those ghosts. Clem continues to try and split, but he goes forward too soon there. He's going to walk into this disruptor. I mean, the Vikings are going to be the only good part of this. They are knocking the Colossi down pretty quickly and pretty freely. But, yeah, Clem ate a lot of disruptor shots there. Zealot's still coming through into this third base. I'm going to push the SCVs back once again. Marauder's still getting busy. Another disruptor shot coming through. I was splitting apart. Another disruptor shot coming in as well. Just going to back it up. Make a little bit of space. We do have 10 more Zealots. 2 more disruptors continuing to produce. Massive Widowmine shots onto a lot of those Zealots. Onto that Archon. Zealots now hitting the third base. Going towards that mineral line. More disruptor shots. Going to hit a Mule. Going to hit a little bit extra. I was going to continue to chase, and we are going to catch some of these disruptors at least. The Zealot's getting to the front. Clem is going to be pushed back a moment. MaxPax seemingly having issues working his way through this Terran army. Like, the disruptor shots have been good, but he doesn't have any follow-ups to this so far. A lot of DTs from MaxPax as well. As Clem has found himself a counterattack, MaxPax might have to turn around to deal with this. He doesn't have much supply for warping. We're going to instantly kill the Nexus. We Super Battery, that doesn't really buy you enough time to do anything though. These warpins are not going to go anywhere. I'm going to go ahead and say a few mistakes there by MaxPax as Clem. Going to eat some disruptors. He's going to lose a base of his own. He's on less bases, so overall a base for a base massively benefits MaxPax. As Clem works his way over to this side. MaxPax is still just kind of having these Zealots that are warping in, just melting. They're not really doing anywhere near enough. Buying some time, maybe, arguably. He's going to go jump into the main base as Clem, as he realizes that MaxPax starts to come back. The Stalker's in the main, but we do manage to fly enough units over. We actually will get to trade out with these Stalkers, so that didn't seem initially like it would have been a possibility. And, well, it is going to slow down the main bulk of this. It does force a trade out for Clem instead of him continue to just take down structures. That's good for MaxPax, I guess, in the end. It just felt like it should have been so much better. Value unloading one more time. Disruptor shot still fired through, not quite connecting just yet. DTs go into this mineral line. A few DTs go towards the natural. He continues to stem forward here, going after these disruptors. Cannon taking a few more shots. Super Battery getting healed up. In the end, it's going to be GG's. Clem just does not come out on the better end of these trades. That is going to be MaxPax into the finals today against the winner of Seoul.